Welcome to Convicted Hearts. I am your host, Jen, and today I have the one, the only Mr. ChicanoTube. How are you,
Mi, her-
brother? Good to see you,
mi,
hermano.
her- mi hermana, God bless you. I'm well. I hope it's well with you, with the familia. I hope it's well with all the viewers that are watching this conversation as well. God bless you, amiga.
God bless you too. I'm so excited to see your new setup and everything. I don't know, it's just like refreshing to see such a crisp and beautiful background and sound.
I think it
I,
just has to do it. It has to do with the us just evolving and wanting to level up. I said, what are we gonna do now? We got to go ahead and take it to the next. How could we just reach more people and let them know about
Mhm.
us Chicanos growing up in the neighborhoods, all the
Right.
adversity that we had to face, but because they see the glory, but they don't know the story. So we're gonna talk about some of that story on your channel tonight.
Yes, I'm excited for that as well. I feel like a lot of people already know who you are, know you have an idea of who you are, but just for a little bit of a background, say there's a viewer or two on here that catch you for the first time. What can you let the people know about Mike Diaz?
Well, first off, don't forget to hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit the bell, hit the all on my sister right here. This is another Chicana channel over here on YouTube. Do those things, por favor. What I can let them know is where I grew up at. It's an area that's very rich in agriculture. Back in the 90s, it was like a $2 to $4 billion industry, and it's almost has doubled now. And so that's what the driving of the economy. So I grew up and we didn't have much. We were on food stamps. I know it was to be poor. I know it was to, have roaches in the house and crawl on you, even though it might make someone sick. Cause it's just shit that we had to grow up with, right? I
Right.
knew what it was growing up in a home, but it was unstable. It was unstable. Seeing domestic violence like occurring every single week, like it was just normal. And what did it make me do? Well, it made me grow up and go to my friends. So I grew up in Salinas and East Salinas, if just to be a little bit more specific, that's the Alisal district of Salinas. So that's the 93905 uh, zip code out there. And it was about 90%. I mean, just raza. Now, that wasn't the history in the beginning. The history in the beginning is almost all of those first time suburbs they built, especially
Mhm.
where my wife was off of Barden, all of those homes out there, they were all full of güeros. It was
Mhm.
all güeros in the beginning, but it's cool because I went to school with blonde hair, blue eyed. And about a couple years after I entered, I just started speaking English way more than I started speaking Spanish. But I was never going to lose the language anyways because it was in the culture.
Yeah.
It was in the cocina. It was when moms was cooking. It was when grandma's cooking las comidas tan sabrosas mexicanas
Mm.
that I grew up, of course, surrounded by a culture,
Right.
you know. And some of the things I had to unlearn, obviously the negative, the biases, the stereotypes, and I'm talking about with, being raised in a home where it was just me and a sister. That's it. No brothers at all. I wish I had a brother.
Mhm.
I I used to get mad, hermana. I used to get mad when I would go to some of my friends' house and they would fight with their brothers. They would, and I'm talking about really fight, like fight, fight, fight. And I was like, man, if I had a little brother, I would make him so much cooler than me. He'd be cooler, he'd be smarter, but again, I didn't have one, so I don't know how it is growing up. All you brothers that lock horns out there, I don't know that experience. I had a sister, older sister, but when I grew up, I acted like her older brother. She didn't like anything in the city that was happening because of course predominantly there was a huge gang problem. The problem is still being attacked now. It's gone way less. We're in single percentile when it comes to crime in the city of Salinas. That's a huge accomplishment, and I believe the only way that's been happening is the way, just like the Bible says, you got to turn the hearts of the sons back to the fathers. And so we need mentors that have been through those alleys, those streets. Me all my life, but in the negative, it was a huge chapter.
Mhm.
It was a huge chapter in my story that I'm still redeeming that time. I think I'm already past it because I'm 42 years old, and it was like a 20-year period. And a lot of the people marvel, how could you do it like a complete 180? It's simple. It's called growth. It's called
Yeah.
growth. If you confess that you've stopped growing or you just want to stay stuck in one area, then that's as far as you're gonna grow.
Mhm.
But if you're professing to be growing, you haven't stopped. The best version of you is still coming up. So I grew up in a very early age, los amigos, and that led me into soon the juvenile halls, going to high school about a total of 6 months, and and then from there turning into an adult and continuing on all those negative things
Maybe give us
until
a little
years later.
more. I know that you did some prison time. You
Of
did.
course, hermana. Don't forget to hit that like, hit that subscribe. We're gonna get into the raw. We're gonna get into the gritty right here. Okay, let's get it because mi hermana, I'm 100% support your channel since day one. You know it. We've DM'd back and forth, and we've seen each other grow. We've seen each other grow side by side, and so this is where you're gonna get it right here on Convicted Hearts channel. So let's talk about that. So, those bad decisions that I made, a lot of them. Okay. The first one was like shooting into an inhabited dwelling. It was very bad, like right off the jump. Okay. That was like first probation case. Couldn't believe they gave me 30 days weekends for that. But the laws were lenient back then.
Mhm.
The laws were not like now. Now if you did that and they already had you in the files, you're gone. You got at least 10, off the top. We could talk about that. But all those bad decisions, I basically went to friends whose older brothers were getting out of YA or placement or on the run from placement and getting out of YA, whose uncles, whose aunts, whose mother, father, even if it was the stepmom, even if it was the stepdad, don't matter. Blended families were all generations of just gangs. And Salinas is predominantly just clusters of family in the beginning. And if you
Mhm.
didn't know a family, when I'm talking decades ago, or you were married into one, that's predominantly how it started. Now I don't know, and
Mhm.
so I grew up not even wanting to go to school anymore because my father was going away as well. So he would go away for my dad would go away for 2 years at a time. My dad would go away for 3 years at a time. The very last time was I remember when he again, this is a 2 3 year increment block of time. He came back and I was already dating my beautiful, smoking, sexy, hot wife at that point. And I'm
Love
like, Dad, I'm glad you're here.
right. Yeah.
I'm not making light of it. I'm not laughing. It's just this is my experience. So I was already used to dad going away. I would get his cars towed left and right, Crown Victorias, Chrysler Cordovas, Monte Carlos, Cutlasses, Regals. I was getting all of them towed. He didn't care. He would come back and get 3 cars. And so that didn't help.
Mhm.
That didn't help at all. And as soon as I turned 18, they put me on a bus, amiga, and they said, you're getting a 90-day observation. That's what they told me. And I'm like, I turned to the abogado. What is that? I hear people that, they stay here in la cárcel. And what are they
Mhm.
telling me? They're saying they ain't taking a chance on you. They're
Mhm.
saying you're going to get on a bus. You're going to go do a 90-day observation. They're basically going to go to CDC. You're going to get a CDC number, and they'll decide if you're a good boy when you get up there, what they're going to do with you, because you could just get lost in the system, or you can go back to the county jail.
Mhm.
I didn't skip a beat. I spent Y2K in the county jail. I know other people, I guess there were stories out here of electricity was going to be turned off, or I don't know nothing about that because all I knew was just county blues.
Mhm.
It was county blues. So I spent Y2K there. Again, I'm 42. I'm 42. I'm not upper 40s or 50s. Don't get my generation twisted. I'm in the generation. What are we? Are we Y?
That's what I was trying to figure out the other day.
I'm
But you
gonna
know
say,
what?
yeah. Go ahead.
I feel like I'm very proud of our generation. There's a shift taking place. And you know what, hermano? You're part of that. Watching what you're doing with ChicanoTube, with your beautiful family, your beautiful wife by your side, has really had an impact on our people. And I'm from the same town. We're both from Salinas, so I'm definitely hearing feedback, and you make us proud.
Trying
So
trying to do something. To me, I look at it as redeeming the time. Again, when it comes to the channel and where it's going, and we'll get back to the story if you want. I'll stay on timeline, amiga. When it comes to that, it's just a part of now. How can we help the people?
right.
You know what I mean? I think I would have gotten way more, turned on to YouTube if someone was really, instrumental in my growth. Like like
Mhm.
one of the first YouTube channels I ever subscribed to. Shout out to my buddy Big Herc.
That's right.
Big
Yeah.
Herc. I hosted a meet and greet for him in Monterey,
Mhm.
and we hit it off. He comes to Car Week, and so he was one of the first YouTube channels. Just to let you know where I'm at. You know where I'm at. Of course, you've seen on YouTube they talk about everything. It's the Wild West, so of course, a lot of people were also on there telling old stories. I'm liking, I'm commenting. I heard some of them. I said, "Oh, interesting." It was kind of a shocker to be honest. In the beginning, I'm like, "Oh, I'm hearing shit that you don't really be heard," or I didn't hear. I would never thought in my life I would hear people talking into a microphone saying some of the things they were saying, and
Right.
all it did was catch my attention. It catch my attention, and
Mhm.
then a couple. Of course, you've seen me unfold now for 2 years on YouTube as a ring announcer. This is the better half of my life, amiga. Is what I'm living right now because we could talk about bullet holes all day, catching bullets and eating bullets for breakfast and the tough guy
Mhm.
stuff, which I do on my channel on the members only, and you're getting it right here exclusively on Convicted Hearts. But at the end of the day, when I stand over my mother's grave and I tell her, you're going to be proud of me on what I'm going to do from here on out because I'm going to educate people and I'm going to help people as many as I can, mama, and that's going to make you happy. I already know you.
Yes, of course. Most definitely. That's another thing that I can, really relate to with you. Although we've dealt with some of the same people, some different people on YouTube, you've always managed to carry yourself with such professionalism, even, when dealing with things that are not that pleasant or situations that are not that pleasant.
Well, not all the time, amiga. I try my hardest, okay, but some of these cabrones right here push me, but it's not just me. It seemed like you're right in the last year when it comes to YouTube drama. YouTube drama. It seems
Mhm.
like in this year right here when it comes to YouTube drama, a lot of people have woken up and saying, "I got to get away from the negative. I gotta get away from some of these cabrones who would do anything for a view. They would do anything for a like, anything for I'm talking about even sell their mama's soul. It sounds, I know, fucked up, but it's just the reality of it. And I think people can sense it. I think people really appreciate authenticity on YouTube because a lot of people they can sense it if someone is just two-facing or has a motive or a filter or is about hustling and money and a slick car salesman or I don't know why
Yeah,
they say that. Why do they say car salesman?
I know, right? Just
Why
giving
do they
all
say
the
oil salesman? Because it's
there
oil and
you,
they're slick.
yeah, there you go. Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. But I will say this: as much as it was too bad to see some things unfold, it had to happen, with certain people. And you're right. The one thing with YouTube that I've noticed, you better be yourself when you're doing this because people will find out who you are.
Hello. Hello. Can we repeat that for the people one time? You better be yourself because if you're coming up with an alter ego or
Mhm.
something just doesn't line up, there's people, shout out to OG, triple OG, there's people who will go ahead and put all your dirty laundry out
Mhm.
there, skeletons. I get, even if you run for like, city position, look what happened to American Cholo. Look what happened to American Cholo, the paperwork, the attack came in and he's running for city office. Now, when I saw that paperwork, I can never be 100 on anything. Now we're in the Photoshop age. I was just talking about it on the live about some flight logs of a very sensitive topic, and I was saying they grabbed that document and photoshopped it about 5 times to just create more, media and spread, messages out. So
Mhm.
I can never be 100, but that ended one person's career for damn sure.
Oh
But
yeah.
they will lie on you. They
Mhm.
will steal on you. They will cheat on you if they're that kind of person. So a snake only sheds its skin, but it's still a snake.
That's right. And I will say one thing for myself. There were a few situations that I didn't ever really put all the way out there, you know, where I was sort of being, yeah, I guess you could say attacked, behind the scenes. And then, a little bit of this and that dabbled out there, but I didn't bite. I don't want to say that it feels good to see the demise of certain people and their career or whatever they want to call it, but there is a bit of, okay, I didn't even have to fully delve into that whole
What
drama
goes
and
around comes around.
it
They're,
revealed
they're gonna they're
itself.
making a bed exactly. What goes around comes around. They're making the bed. They're gonna lay in it, of course. And those are the clips or the videos that get the most views. The gente like that. Oh, they're bumping heads, something like that. I did a video. I said, you know what? Matter. I ran into this attorney that drafted up a friend of mine in Old Town having some lunch, and I mentioned to him. I said, hey, remember that individual? Oh yeah, he defaulted. First thing he said, we're filing. So again, when it comes to legal things like that, those are legal things, and those are
Yeah.
the ones that. But again, this year on YouTube, when it comes to the drama, has been at its peak. You got podcasters getting arrested. I mean, you have some of these people that are just outlandish characters that are look like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. They started their career one way, and then in the end, it was like the rise and fall story where it's a crash and burn. And
Right.
you got other stuff like you had said, mostly with the guys. My wife, she just jumped on YouTube a couple weeks ago. Shout out to the beautiful wifey, Miss ChicanoTube.
Hmm.
She has been tripping out and she's like, wow, this is like a novella.
It
That's what
is.
she said. I
It
said,
is.
it is like a novella. And but again, how can we branch off? How can we level up? And not just us, bring people with us. I have that mentality, amiga. I want you to go first and me last, because I know the way God works.
Yes.
I
I
figured
love
that out. The keys to the kingdom, there's certain principles that will always work,
yeah.
and that's humility. Humility will always work. And you said another one, authenticity, or maybe like they said, the tank, do not bear false witness, you know, be yourself, all these other things. And I think that people that appreciate on the channel.
I think so for sure. For sure. It feels good to have, a solid hermano like yourself, Cholo Trucker. Shout out to both of you. It feels good as even a female content creator to know that you have individuals like yourself that we can come to with a question or feedback or hey, how do you do this, how do you do that, and really get that answer without any of the other BS that other individuals may have tried to throw in there. So thank you.
So true. It's so true. You're going to gravitate who you gravitate to. If you want to get advice, why would you seek advice from someone that's on a maturity lower level than you? That is as life's experiences lower level than you. And there's not that. People that's why I believe people gravitate to your channel. I believe they gravitate to your channel as well. They can sense you when you open your channel, amiga. And
Mhm.
those first videos, and I seen the bio and everything like that. I said, my sister right here is keeping it real. I said, I know she's going to keep it real because you've been through things in your life.
Yeah.
And those are life's experiences, what you built the channel about. Now on ChicanoTube, I'm taking the whole barrio with me now. I'm taking the whole Alisal district, not just the Chicanos and Gente Raza over here. I'm
Mhm.
taking them all from California, the Southwest, as far as I can get this message across that what I want them to do is to be critical thinkers. What I want them to do is lay some principles down like I did on ChicanoTube.
Mhm.
Maybe everyone won't. I know not everyone's going to agree with me. I'm not going to be everyone's cup of tea, but I picked those pillars specifically to be for Chicano Tube. I said Dios, I said familia y cultura. I said those three things I could be proud of and hold my head up high now. 20, 30 years when I see the videos, I'm waiting to record more so I could delete a lot of old ones. I could be proud of those and said, you know what I did spread? I spread the word that maybe no one else was spreading. I spreaded awareness. We talked about some topics how we're going to help people and anything else they wanted to talk to, how to start businesses. I saw someone just commented on that video I did. One of my first videos is how to obtain your California real estate license. In the first half of this video right here, you had asked me about growing up, and I told you, yeah, I basically grew up and went by the time I was 18, like in the back of a cop car about 16 to 18 times. I have the paperwork on that. I had to pull it out to get my real estate license. And a lot of people were commenting, well, how did you end up getting it then? I thought
Mhm.
that video was going to be very informative and help people. I started the channel on that note. I'm gonna end it the channel on that note. Of course, the drama gets in between, the cheese gets in between. I've been known to talk about football a lot and sports,
Mhm.
especially boxing. Look out for that video I just dropped. I finally got the whole behind the scenes fight vlog of a ring announcing job. I had a camera and follow me everywhere, hugging people, world champions and boxers. So this is the best half of my life, amiga, and I just wish nothing but up and blessings to you, to your viewers, to your subscribers. Tune in because the best is yet to come.
Thank you, amigo. I appreciate that. You know, bringing up the boxing thing, that's one thing that I really caught on with you at first was the voice. You have the voice, that ring announcer. That's hard to come by. Not everybody can do that and stand out the way you do.
I'm trying to remember the whole story with the Cholo Trucker fight. I'm trying to remember who was the one. If Paul's watching, Big Joe's watching, someone drop a comment below. Again, I don't have the best memory. I
Mhm.
think something happened last week. My wife told me that was 3 months ago. I don't seriously, I don't know. Um, Someone heard me on a YouTube video.
Mhm.
I did a reaction to the announcement of the fight. That's how I got involved with it. And on one of the videos, I said, I do this for amateur boxing. And I've already put a tux on. And I just do this as a hobby because I just seen people get a kick, like enjoy the hell. Like their experience to come to a boxing show went up about 3 levels because I was there in a tuxedo and I was saying, fighting out of Guadalajara, Jalisco, Mexico, they would get.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. And going back to that, I remember, not word for word, but I do remember throwing your name out there and being like, this guy's voice. I'll have to find the video and put it
it,
up there
it
again.
happened. It happened at the beginning of all of our
Yeah.
journeys. And I'm just glad that, through all these experiences now as YouTubers, here we
Mhm.
are. And it's one of those things that if you want to remain consistent on, it's going to bring out who you are. You're going to get into a mojo sooner or later and get into it. And I believe I'm at a point right now, I'm going to help as many gente as I can. We're going to be doing another giveaway coming really, really soon. Just because whatever we get, the merch store is nonprofit. That's for I've had like 2 dozen orders. Shout out to everyone that loves the brand and where we're going and the message. And I think a lot of people can relate to people like me and you, hermana.
Mhm.
The reason is because how we grew up, Chicanos, where we grew up, adverse environments, been through situations. You've done videos about it, trauma,
Yeah.
which is I 100% agree with, that people need to heal from trauma, need
Mhm.
to face it, and heal up from a lot of the stuff that we were programmed like robots to believe is normal and stereotypes. And now we have on the television, they're telling us what to think and believe, and believe it or not, they're actually grooming our children as well for the future so they can have them to think and believe how they want. And so that's why we don't watch television. It's basically all Netflix and
Right.
streaming.
Right. Exactly. Same here. When I was watching your live the other day, that's exactly what I was catching on to, doing my little cleaning and thing for the night, but I'm listening and I'm like, okay, you
Yeah,
get it.
yeah, oh yeah.
You get it. You're putting it out there so other people can get it. And that's definitely, we need to do that more for our
It's
community.
information. We're in the information age, but now information is being suppressed a lot.
Yes.
Information is not being told all the way. You have to dig and research it. And let's just
Mhm.
keep it real. A lot of people are lazy nowadays. They'd rather watch an IG video of someone tripping and falling 100 times before they rather go and learn something and get
Right.
themselves smart, learn about business, learn about psychology, learn about culture, learn about anything that you could learn to make yourself better as a person. We're just now not really that motivated. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, but it's good to see that it's being spoken about, even if we're doing our part here, right? And something that you mentioned had to do with a certain movie that's out. And it's sort of
Yes.
opening people's eyes to really what's going on in the world, with our children and things. You mentioned something about that movie that people are possibly either
Hmm.
buying up the tickets and not showing up, or they're saying the tickets are sold out and they're really
Yeah.
not. I happened to witness that personally. And I had seen a movie a couple months back, not the same movie, but a faith based movie. And it was like shown all over the theaters around us. Tickets were sold out everywhere. I purchased
Mm.
the last two tickets. When I got there were 8 people in the theater. So it was put out there like all the tickets were sold out. Don't come, don't come. This faith based family movie. Once you get there, no, the tickets were not bought up. The movies that are really opening people's eyes or attempting to, somebody was trying to suppress that and make it not really get out there in front of people.
You know what it seems? It seems like it's a power struggle, and I'll tell you who the power struggle is. They want us to think it's the power struggle of politicians, but it's not. It's a
Mhm.
power struggle between good and evil. That's what's happening. Yes, I spoke about this on live, and because of some great phone calls, I didn't get a chance to get off all the points that I wanted to get across. Like of course the SB 14, the latest bill that got shot down, okay, by one political party. Maybe we don't put it out there. If I put it out there, all of a sudden people start commenting and unsubscribe, and hey, do what you do. I'm here to put the information out to the people's court. You decide. There was one political party that blocked this bill. This bill would have gave anyone that did any kind of sex assault on a
Mhm.
minor a strike, a second or a third strike. And it seemed something reasonable, something that needed to be imposed. It seemed something that would have had across party lines a yay. And guess what? It was blocked, and it led to an uproar. And I'm just telling people to be aware of what's going on. Okay, I had someone hit me on IG and tell me, Mike, what's going on? They're stopping to write homeowners policies in California. And I said, okay, see, the people are finding out real life issues that are affecting them, and no one is talking about them on YouTube. And I
Mhm.
replied to that person on IG. I said, yes, two of the major insurance carriers are now pulling out of California. And guess what might happen to our insurance premiums?
Oh no.
Yes. So what is going on? An exodus. People are just, all
Mhm.
I'm doing is, hey, this is going to help your family out. It's going to help you make decisions that are best for you and are best for your family. But you need to tune in to people that talk about these current real life events that affect us.
Right. Absolutely. How important do you feel it is for us to own property and our own homes?
I think I would say it is important. I would say it's part of leaving. So, it seemed like the goal for my grandparents and parents were to come to a better place that can
Mhm.
give their children opportunities. I know if you've heard me say the definition of the word Chicano, and that's by textbook. But there's
Mhm.
so many ways to define it. It doesn't, I believe it has more than one definition. I'll tell you what is another definition. I believe I am a manifestation of a vision that my parents had to go somewhere where they can give me better opportunities and take advantage of them. And that's why I believe that I'm here. But I'm sorry, what was the question again?
How important do you feel it is
Oh,
for
property.
our
Yes.
people to own homes? Yeah.
So when my mom, thank the Lord, she at least got to see me turn the 180, and it gives me some solace and some console. I just hit the 1 year last June. It gives me some solace and console and say she saw the better half.
Mhm.
So when she saw me buying up properties, summer rental, some here, I'm voy a vivir acá, pero voy a hacer esto, something like that. To her, I know she was proud without even telling me. And that my mom was just very meek. If I had one word to describe my mom, meek is the word. So the opposite of aggressive and expressive, I guess, maybe.
Yeah.
Meek. When I saw her that, she was so simple though. Mom always taught me this all my life. These three things, as long as you got a roof over your head, clothes on your back, food on the table. She didn't tell me about family as because I was a little kid.
Yeah.
She said, if we have those three things, we're winning in life. Don't get it twisted to what the internet tells you is the definition of winning. But should you buy property? Yes. I became a dual citizen. I'm even a citizen in the country of Mexico. And it was only for that opportunity. Well, is because when my mother passed away, there was properties that
Mm.
also had to be dealt with on the Mexican side. And I had all the paperwork, which they ask you for like 10 old stained, coffee stained, old documents from the early 1900s. I brought them all. I was able to become a citizen over there just to buy property. And property over there was way more economical and feasible than it is right now. Right now, I'm thinking of doing a once a week market watch Facebook
Mm.
Live. I have a Facebook, but I only leave that for business.
Right,
I know
right.
it doesn't get a lot of love. It gets a story every once in a while, but over there, in a lot of all my occupations,
Mhm.
they reach out to me on Facebook because everyone and their mama has Facebook.
Yes, yes.
But yes, owning properties I think is very important if you can. Now, if you had the opportunity to buy now, someone's saying, "Oh, 7% interest rate. Oh my gosh, that's historic." It is historic. It's traditionally historic. It's not historic that it's happening for the first time ever in the housing market. It's traditionally historic that it goes up and down in cycles, and we'll be able to change the note, refinance. I've helped so many families, amiga, pay off college debt,
Mm.
their cars, loans, have money. The mom in the family didn't even know she could retire. She could retire, didn't even have to work anymore. All she needed was someone to call her, set up a meeting, and give her information. She just needed information. So I've helped. That's what I do now is in the same community. I'm still in the same community,
Yeah.
because I made it a goal. When that district attorney said the poster boy for gangs one time, I think on like a gun case as I was an adult, I said, if I get out of this where I was at, it was hell where I was at. If I get out of this place, I'm going to prove that district attorney wrong. And here I am.
Here you are. That's right. I love that. I love that. And I feel like that's a great summary of so much of what you've accomplished, and you're pouring back into the community. And I want to do the same. I'm doing so, maybe in small ways, but I'm doing what I can as I can. But I want to ask you one last thing before we wrap it up. And this is important for, I think, our female viewers and supporters. How important is it, being that you have your beautiful wife by your side, to have a solid woman, a solid female, a solid wife by your side while going through all these events throughout your life?
It's invaluable to me. It's invaluable to me. It's been the life change. To me, it was the life transformation. I needed a yang to my yin, or else someone that just would have came on with two yings, it wouldn't have helped me do anything, and I would probably be still looking at a concrete wall thinking I'm a tough guy somewhere, or that I'm bad, or had something to prove, which I
Mhm.
don't, and I can care less opinions or anything. And I think that people appreciate that more because they're going to give it from someone that speaks from the heart and is not bought or
Mhm.
persuaded or moved or any of that. But I don't want to stay too long talking. This is what I want to say on that question. I'm not trying to move on from the question, but a lot of people don't have that. A lot of people don't have that person, and to them,
Mhm.
my hats off to them if they can aspire,
Mhm.
persevere, pull themselves and their family, if they have children, out from a place because they
Mhm.
didn't have a partner, they didn't have a spouse, they didn't have someone that could help them, that could emotionally help them, because we some single parents pour out so much. When do they get the love?
Yeah,
When do they get looked out for? It seems like the single parents pour themselves out so much into their kids that
Mhm.
they ain't got no life. They're just always pouring out and no one's pouring into them. So I'm so blessed. My wife grew up in the church. She had the anointed fingers in the church for the
Mhm.
keyboard. If you didn't know, my wife has the Mozart hands on top of that, other gifts that actually God himself, the photography business.
Oh,
I'll tell a real quick story. This is going to be good. This is right here on Convicted Hearts, right here. I'm going to give the story that I've only told maybe in 2 or 3 of my wife's workshops, Texas and other little states. her photography workshops. I said the way that the photography business, which my wife now has a stranglehold on all the photographers here in Monterey County. I was on a 3-day fast. Okay, this is gonna trip you out. I was on a 3-day fast. I just got done, graduated from seminary,
Okay.
Rema in Oklahoma, in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. I was very spiritual. This is about 2012.
Okay.
Okay. And when I was on that fast, the Lord told me, I want you to here's the Lord talking. This is the Lord. A lot of people try to make sense of it, but he's the Lord. He's going to tell you exactly how he's going to tell you. All I have to do is be particular to listen to each word, because in grammar, words mean a lot to meaning. Okay. So he told me, I want you to believe this year for two things on a 3-day fast entering the new year, 2012. He said, one, I want you to believe for a home, because I'm going to give you a home. And two, he said, that camera that's in the closet, I'm going to make a business out of it, and it's going to flourish. That was it. And we hit the ground running. And my wife was on Cannery Row now for 6 years, but now they book her, and they just checked their dates on the website and book her. And so, a lot of the time she doesn't even get to meet them, but they book her and take her there. But it's because I told her we have a disadvantage on that. I feel like we do, but we really don't. It's the gift of God.
Yes, absolutely it is. That's right. Definitely the gift of God. And you know what? Where he speaks his gift, I believe nobody else can waver from that.
I'd
So
rather be under his covering, right, than any place out. Blessed is
me
he.
too. Me too. Amen to that. Well, I just want to thank you again, Armando. It really means a lot to me that you made the time to meet with me tonight and do this, and speak about some things that our gente could really be inspired by and move forward, and be positive and motivated. So
And
thank you
that's
for
what No, you're so welcome. And I will be back. This is not the last time you've seen of me.
that.
Mark my
Absolutely.
words. And what I want to say is to the people out there that are listening, hit the like, subscribe. You're going to hear many more stories like this. Some, stories like mine, you're going to relate to. But these are the kind of things that you need to hear. These are the things that maybe you didn't know. Some of the topics that we're going to talk about is going to directly affect you, and it's going to help you. I recommend you tune into these channels that are going to help you develop and grow as a person. And stay tuned, because we got many more collabs coming on, hermana.
That's right. That's right. And if you guys are not already subscribed to ChicanoTube, go check it out. I'm going to be placing an order for my merch. I have to have that. I have to have that hoodie for sure.
It was after the rebranding. I'm gonna keep it 100%, right? So I like transparency. Me and my wife, we're into ethics. We're into when it comes to business. Someone commented, "Oh, you're wearing chanclas," or something on when I did my first live here, and my wife was tripping out. I'm like, people ain't coming over here for no fashion show. They're coming over here to learn something, to get to get put up on game. I said, forget all that. But anyways, what we want to do is we want to help as many people as possible. I got other plans coming up for Salinas, Hermana. I want to see if you want to be involved in any of these plans. I'm talking about fundraisers. I'm talking about backpack drives. I'm talking about turkey drives. I'm talking about those kind of things that we can do in our community. I know if you are, I'm going to reach out to you, and we're going to make some things happen. And I'm kind of like, I don't like to, like the Bible says, let the left hand know what the right hand is doing. But for documentary purposes, I think it could also reach more people and let them know that in our community, it's a wonderful community and we help each other.
You're right. And for that reason, I agree. I definitely am here for it. Just let me know. I'm a phone call away. And with all of this said, and you guys remember to subscribe, ChicanoTube, subscribe right here. And remember, always, always, always keep your hearts convicted.